Hello everyone. So we're moving on to day 4 lesson. So pretty simple. So day 4 lesson is on finding or estimating square root value. So how to find square root value on a number line. How do we do that? Okay, you know what I'm gonna do is just to make it easier for you guys, I'm actually gonna write all the perfect roots here on the side. I hope you remember when I say perfect root or perfect square root, I'm talking about a number multiply itself gives you that. Like 1 times 1 is 1. 1 is a perfect square. 2 times 2, 4. 4 is a perfect square. So I'm just going to write down a list of all the perfect squares. So square root of 1. What is the number? It's 1. Square root of 4. So I'm looking at all perfect squares I have, like most of. I'm just going to make a list for you guys. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. 16. 4. 25 is 5. And please have this list handy because it would help you a lot. 36, 6, 49, 7, 64, 8, 81, 9. I have 100, square root of 100 is 10, 121, 11, 144 is 12. I guess that's more than enough. Okay, now let's look at the first one. Now, think about this. If I ask you to graph square root of 36 on the number line, could you do that? Gosh, it looks so scary. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to find its value first, because if I know its real number, I can just plot it on the number line. What is the square root of 36? Look at your list here. I have 36 here. All right, so it's 6. So means once I have my number line that starts from, 0 is in the middle, positive numbers on the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is where I'm going to plot it. So find the value and then just plot it after. So let's say I have another one. I have 4. So find this value. So what's the square root of 4? It's 2. So on the number line, this is 0, 1, and 2. Plot and done. Here you go. That's how we plot square roots on number line. Now next one is estimating. So what I'm going to do, I need all these perfect squares here. So I'm just going to erase this whole thing first, because I need to look at all those numbers first. Okay, so estimating square roots. Why do we need to estimate? Now the reason we have to do this, because the numbers you'll see under the radical are not going to be a perfect square. So this is part B of your assignment. We are estimating the value. So estimating irrational numbers. Okay, why do I say irrational number? I hope you remember. So a number that's not a perfect square is irrational number. So it means I'll be looking at something like this. Square root of 75, and there's a negative. Oh, forget about the negative. That's okay, no worries. First of all, is 75 rational or irrational? Okay, how do we decide if it's a perfect square? It's rational. If it's not, it's irrational. 75. Do we have 75 on our list? 75, 75. Nope. So it is irrational. So this is where we need to estimate its value. How do we estimate? So let's find the number bigger than this and a number smaller than this. Okay, let's look at the list. So number bigger than 75 is this one here. And number smaller than 75 is this one here. So I know the value of this radical would definitely be in between square root of 64 and square root of 81 for sure. Now, forget about the negative. Once I figure out the value, I'm just going to reverse back the negative. Okay, so it's not a big deal. So just to figure out the value, I'm just going to pretend it's positive, and at the end, I'll bring back the negative. Okay, now what do you think? Is 75 closer to 64 or is it 81? So I know 75, 64, it's a difference of 11 numbers. 75, 81, it's a difference of 6 numbers. So to me, my value would be more closer to this root value. Okay, so what's the square root of 64? It's 8. Square root of 81, it's 9. So it means if I say my answer is in between these two, and since 81 is closer to 75, so my answer would be more towards this. So I would say it's something around 8.66. I would say that. Here you go. And then finally, it asks you to check by using your calculator. You could do that. So this would be my answer. I have one more example to show you. So let me just erase this here. So, because again, I need these perfect square numbers to look at all the time. So let's just go back to this, pick a different color. So let's pick orange this time. Okay. This is my example. Oh, did I put a negative at the end? Okay, I'm sorry guys. Last one, make sure you put negative with your answer at the end. Don't forget to do that. So my next example is square root of 150 over 2. Is it rational or irrational? It's not a perfect square, so it is irrational. So 150. So let's find its range. 150. This number looks like smaller, so I have to have another number on my list. Let's just say square root of 169 is 13. So this number, the top number would be in between square root of 144 and square root of 169. And I'm still going to put on 2 over y because my original number has over 2. So I still have to keep the pattern there. Okay, so my answer would be somewhere in between these two. So what do you think? 150, is it more closer to 144 or is it closer to 169? So I feel like it's closer to 144. So to me, my answer is going to be, let's just simplify this first. Square root of 144 is 2 divided by 2. This side, square root of 169 is 13 divided by 2. Let's simplify. So it's 6. And 13 over 2 is 6.5. So my answer is going to be somewhere in between these two. But since I know 144 is closer to 150, so my answer would be more closer to 6. So I would just say it's 6.22, something like this. And at the end, you could just check. So that's how we do it. So just put in your calculator and you can check. And don't forget, make sure you have this list handy all the time. Okay? And this is all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.